Welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the 2023 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64. We have cut the field to the top 40% for the fourth and final round of this Elite Plus event on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
And happy to be out here for the fourth and final round. We have just 45 players out here today. Gonna make the course play a little easier, or so you would say for stats, as it is the top 45 players. Our chase card here are going to be Alden Harris, Isaac Robinson, Ezra Aderhold, and Anthony Barela, all within 2 strokes of each other.
And all within 3 to 4. I guess Anthony is 5 strokes back at the lead, but we've definitely seen that these holes have some teeth. You got to be on your game, and in theory, we could wind up with another chase card winner if some things break the right way. Alden Harris, we saw him yesterday, sponsored by Prodigy, putting with the PA3. Imagine we could see some rollers out of him, and was kind of ripping D1s, D2s all over the place.
And Isaac Robinson, also sponsored by Prodigy, putting with the soft PA3. Might see some M1 for some mid-range shots. FX4 for the fairways, and D1s and D Model OS for those long distances.
Ezra Aderhold, sponsored by Discraft, putting with the Challenger SS. You see a variety of Challenger SSs and zones in his bag. Nebula is his only mid-range, but expect to see lots of drivers, especially those nukes.
And Anthony Barela also going to have lots of nukes in his bag, along with forces for the long shots. Might see some cap wraps, also some buzzes for mid-ranges, and then putting with the CT Jawbreaker focuses.
Hole 1, a par 4 at 670 feet. Need to hit this initial gap and carry the green. There's also a bunker in the prime landing zone. If you clear that at about 360 or so, that leaves a long approach shot of about 300 feet or so into this green, elevated basket, and tiers.
Sponsored by Prodigy Disc. Give it up for Alden Harris.
Alden went roller on this yesterday. Similar conditions, great temperature, a little bit of wind.
Seemed like the wind did pick up more today than the previous day as well. So at points of this round, the highest wind these players have dealt with all week.
And this is laid down, kind of tracking towards the bunker again. This time Alden able to jump out. As he's an all-backhand player, that'll leave a turnover shot into the green.
Next on the tee, from Lawrenceville, Georgia, also sponsored by Prodigy Disc. Give it up for Isaac Robinson.
And Isaac Robinson, this was his first event, really, I believe, last year. Coming out on tour, did pretty well. Could be mistaken, but I think he got a podium, or was at least up there vying for it. Happy to be back out here again, I'm sure. And out here on Chase Card, going to be trying to make a push for the lead, and looks to be a fantastic tee shot. Going to gain all that distance all the way up. Still avoids that OB on the left side, inside 300.
Urbandine, South Dakota, sponsored by Discraft. Give it up for Ezra Aderhold.
Ezra looks like he has a mid-range, possibly fairway in his hand. Flat release, starting to drift, and also will carry over the bunker. Not quite as far as Robinson had gotten, but just fine.
Arizona, sponsored by Discraft. Give it up for Anthony Barela.
Yeah, Ezra made that look quite easy. Didn't look to be going for all of that distance. Anthony Barela, seen a bit more of him this year, maybe playing more tournaments than he has in the past, and seems to be playing well. He's going to go with that forehand here. You got to really make sure you push it towards that tree across the green. Or over.
Yeah, that tree, I ranged it at 340, and he has thrown it 340, still 40 feet high, in a prime landing zone. Forehand and backhand both available from there. We saw Harris demonstrate really good touch with this mid-range yesterday. Anheuser release, playing for a slow pan and fade. This will be tracking to the left side, but inbounds inside the circle. Great start.
Yeah, really great control, as you noted. Looked like it was going to fade out a lot harder, but pretty soft finish because he's able to throw that mid-range.
Barela going to the mid, possibly putter. He throws a Luna very well, and this is on one of those top tiers, so he'll be roughly level with the basket, somewhere in mid C1.
And Ezra choosing to go right side through some gaps rather than a turnover, maybe a play because of the wind. Does look like he made it through the gap, but stayed a bit too far right.
And Isaac Robinson threw his FX4 all the way to the pinch point. That makes pretty easy work and gets a little roll to the backside of the green, but very close to the bucket.
As long as you don't mind an uphill putt, much safer over there. As Alden Harris comes up a bit low and gets a funny reaction off of the basket, but gonna have to tap in his par as Anthony Barela starting his round off with a nice birdie.
This can be a little bit challenging as Isaac's head is a couple feet below the rim, and with the crosswind, difficult to manage unless you're Isaac, in which case you just take 1/2 second of thought and slam it in.
Yeah, he didn't even let you tell people that it was difficult before. He just made it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hype up the players, make them look good. It's on them to cooperate.
That hole played much easier today, with 49% of these 45 players taking a birdie. Hole 2, 390-foot par 3. Most likely going to see players go inside of that big tree in the middle with a forehand trying to get up here for the birdie look. Isaac, however, doesn't throw forehand, so he'll go outside of that tree and try to draw something over. Oh, he'll still go inside of that tree.
Smashing a mid-range, kind of gets knocked down by some branches.
Yeah, on the inside, which is why I would have expected a backhand to go outside of that tree.
Forehand to carry straight is the dream here. This is dying a little bit early and does drop safe.
Yeah, another hazard you could potentially find over there on the right side if you sneak through the trees. It's a bunker over there.
And today's roller from Harris, not nearly as successful as yesterday when he was putting from circle 1. Aderhold looking to correct from the forehand, pushes it straight. I like this because you're taking the bunker out of play. It just needs to have the late stability to avoid the out-of-bounds left side.
And finishes just in time. He's going to be just outside the circle. Only one on the card with a birdie look.
Harris going to go right side hyzer. Difficult to see the basket from anywhere over there. You're kind of lined up with the trees, but no matter. Able to get himself a bullseye par tap in. And following that is Anthony Barela with a Luna, scooting much longer.
Yeah, a bit oversauced there on that upshot. Definitely not going to want that much of a comebacker for par. As Ezra leaves that one just a bit low. I wonder if he was inside. Typically, if he's outside the circle, we see him do his step putt.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to keep an eye on. He has very good pace with that. Barela forced to a knee to avoid the tree. And connects.
What a save.
Yeah, that's really big for his round. Would have been kind of 2 unforced errors on the same hole to create a bogey, but covering your mistakes lets you score later.
Yeah, and this hole did play again as the 3rd hardest hole on the course, with 20% of the field taking bogey or above, and that should be from hazard or OB strokes. So very I know it's early, but kind of round saver type of putt right there for AB to get his round going.
Hole 3, 370 feet as a par 3. There's a mandatory forcing you to the left, and there is some out of bounds down the entire left side. I imagine we're going to see 4 overstable backhands thrown with anhyzer to drift to the right and then finish back towards the basket. It's kind of the natural line the hole is asking for.
Just kind of like that. Just barely misses that last big fur. Catches the base of the basket and rolls to about 25, so he'll have a putt instead of a drop in.
Looks to me like Robinson went with a fairway. That way he can throw a full swing. Little roll, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he would change a thing.
Anthony Barela, you see the more severe force over and the stability. And flashing by the basket as well.
Gosh. That one. Yeah, let's take another look. Back-to-back Gatekeeper replays here as AB flashing chains.
If they're going to keep throwing this well, we're going to have a 50-minute front nine.
Yeah, gonna have a long highlight reel afterwards, too. Missing ace by inches there.
Harris, a little flatter release. Disc kind of dragging to the right side, and that can work. But I think he kind of got caught up on the guardian trees that are near circle's edge.
Ezra also using a very overstable disc. Didn't quite get that to the right to hit the correct line that he was looking for. Now giving him a bit of a difficult upshot. Hard to work, work this back.
I think he's going zone OS in order to use only stability. Pretty successful to about 20 feet or so. I think the difference between Aderhold's drive and everybody else's, as Harris comes up a little short and left, is that Aderhold kind of air bounced his shot, didn't drive it over. Everybody else stayed on top of their disc to keep the anhyzer active for longer.
All right, and Anthony Barela able to connect after almost flashing chains, or splashing chains. Goes out to about 30 feet, connects for his second birdie of the round. Ezra now trying to card a par.
And good correction from the previous putt. That looked committed, landed center.
Isaac, who actually did catch some plastic, I'll say, not quite metal, but is also going to card his birdie. Second one of his round, moving him to 20 under par. Alden Harris now pretty much a tap-in par here. Hole 4, a 450-foot par 3. Few options to take to get up there. You've got the gap that the drone is flying. There's a high turnover to the right side. You could also throw roller if the wind is positive for that play. Looks to be pushing too far right today, in my opinion. Going to be pretty difficult to get that down correctly.
Pretty technical line here from Isaac Robinson, waiting for late stability, and you saw how much of the ceiling he used just to get it into circle 2. Barela, we didn't see this shot yesterday from anybody on our chase card.
Yeah, this
Takes
is
a ton of power.
A huge forehand. I would love to see this get there, but he definitely was over trying to try to get there on that one. Turns it over too much.
Yeah, he's on the west course now. Alden Harris ran a roller pretty far right yesterday.
Yeah, going with that big turnover shot today rather than the roller. Deciding also that the wind was not favorable. Gets up there maybe to circle 2, but probably looking at a par there.
And Ezra drifting pretty far right. Will get almost all of the distance. Kind of over there in Isaac Land.
Yeah, and the wind just never allowed that to come back. As soon as it turned over and the wind caught that bottom flight plate, just kept it moving to the right.
Something pretty neat about this, Anthony's going to throw a Luna rather than a zone or something really overstable. Just shows that he has really good touch to go along with his power. Not reliant purely on stability. Alden, not quite in position to score, comes up just short.
And yesterday I mentioned how there was more birdies on this hole than I expected. Today was much closer to what I expected. Ezra just one of the 4 birdies on this hole today as we take another look with this Gatekeeper rewind. Just high enough to skip over that rim into the chains. Nice 2 there from Ezra.
Yeah, good glide. Just held this plane for a long time. And from a similar spot, same kind of headwind.
Not to be outdone, Isaac Robinson starting his round 3 for the first 4. Says, I want to be a chase card winner this year as well. And we just saw 2 of the 4 birdies on this hole, Fish.
All right. Half the chase card doing work. Barela for his par. Still taking his time, deliberate, knocks it in, and Harris going to card the same. I think a real theme here is you want to manage the first 4 or 5 holes, and then there are some more scoring opportunities. So far, Barela, the only one who's given any strokes back. Hole 5, a gorgeous downhill shot. Managed the head and crosswind to about 540 feet or so, avoiding these bunkers that play as hazard, the green that places out of bounds, and then a gorgeous water carry to a basket that's perched up on a little knoll. Maybe the water isn't gorgeous, but I think the shot that you have to throw to manage it is, as I'm making Nathan lose his mind over here.
Yeah, that one got me a little bit as we passed over that very, very brown water. And Isaac has gotten just a little bit too much on this one and gone into the golden brown sand there.
Aderhold getting some drift. This is going to finish out to the left, and that makes his shot into the green much straighter. Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. And you're right. He is out to the left of that bunker and has a very straight shot. I bet you he could not pinpoint that one again.
No, definitely. That's the kind of thing that what good shot lands there. You're surrounded by hazard all around you. This may be an instance where having elite power like some of these players have is perhaps an issue. Like they have to disc down. Harris, being a little more conservative, plays well short of those, makes his second shot longer, and Barela just going to go straight left immediately.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of this rather than disking down, just letting it fade out to the left. It makes your shot over 400 into the green, but it does keep you safe from those bunkers. And doesn't really make you have to make the decision of really throwing a mid-range or a fairway driver as hard as you can rather than a distance driver. But didn't work out for Alden there. He's going to have played too conservatively and not make it over on that second shot.
Barela with a look straight at the basket. This is low and sinking. Flies across the green. And he also will have to take a mark short of the pond.
Almost incredible to get that across.
Hole 5 kind of showing its teeth as 3 players already having taken a penalty stroke. Isaac kind of covers his initial mistake off the tee, gets inside the circle with a chance to save par.
Yeah, it should be pretty close there. Went all the way up to the bottom of that hill. Almost all the work done to now save his par. Ezra has overturned this too much, though. Kind of being safe, making sure he doesn't go in any OB. Should have a pretty easy up and down from there as long as he doesn't get too crazy and decide to run that.
Yeah, I think that's no-go territory into the headwind. You've already done the hard part of the hole. Don't make it harder on yourself.
And this hole did jump to the hardest hole of the day today. A little bit more headwind going on. Only 4 birdies and 38% of the field taking bogey or above. So that's 17 players carding bogey or above.
Yeah, that'll happen. Even when we cut some dead weight out of the field, some holes still play hard.
OB and headwind. 2 big things on this hole.
So AB going to give another stroke back to the course. This is Isaac for his par.
And that's a great par to get after landing in that hazard bunker. Able to kind of cheat one off of the course and not give one away with a great second shot. Alden going to give one back here. And chase card showing you why this one was the hardest on the course today. Ezra going to be the only par, it looks like. Or the second par, excuse me.
And does knock it in. Keep an eye on those place tickers down at the bottom. Isaac has jumped into a tie for second, making up some of the gap on the lead card.
And hole 6, somewhat an opportunity to get another stroke. 415-foot par 3. Seems to play a little tricky. I think it's a good win to get these right-handed backhand shots to push to the left. That'll work there from Isaac. He ends up a little inside, but avoids all the branches. He's going to be right around circle's edge.
Aderhold trying to counter that crosswind, but that straightens out as he tries to manipulate the anhyzer.
Yeah, really need a flat release on this one.
And I think if there wasn't a mandatory there, it would be a lot easier to throw that because there would be no threat of a penalty stroke.
Right.
But instead, players trying to maximize the width of the gap by the little bit of anhyzer. This has to be a very overstable disc. Barela looking to get the drag late, but also hung out too wide. Nathan, I think as you say, those are kind of getting smashed by the wind.
Smashed down.
Packed down?
Yeah, packed down for sure. As most of these putts will likely, as well as now they'll have a tailwind. And you see the low ceiling going to make it pretty difficult to keep these up the entire way.
Yeah, not a whole lot of ambition on those first 2. Barela with his smooth spin may take a poke. But
The wind says no.
yeah, heads right towards the base. Isaac Robinson, more of a crosswind look. Wind can lift this putt. Or just kind of slap it out.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. It looked like it may have been a little bit right, but the wind should have helped push that in still, you know?
But at any rate, looks like we've got some par cleanups coming. No severe drama here on hole 6, and that begins a string of several par 4s that are eminently scoreable.
Yeah, now is the time to stack some birdies if you get the chance.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
This is the new
Optimize Orbit. Look
at this
very nice thing.
tingling.
Hole 7, a par 4 at 680 feet. Pretty steep uphill, mandatory around 270 or so. You'd like to get yourself onto the flat and then be able to swing a big right-hand backhand hyzer into this next cluster of trees. We've seen either overstable backhands or some cut rollers in order to reduce the chance of that low ceiling coming into play.
And Isaac going with that backhand, gonna tap the Mando tree and kick to the good side. Not the distance that you want, gonna be difficult to reach the pin from there, but could be possible. Ezra going with that cut roller.
I think if you're making that play, you don't really care where you finish. You're trying to just lay it down and ensure there's enough power on it.
Yeah, lay it down and make the Mando. Done for Alden. Now everything else is bonus.
Yep, and his disc flippy enough to hold straight even up the hill and get to the front side of the trees that kind of block the straight access in.
Yeah, I think that should leave him inside 300. He's made a pretty good distance up that hill.
Mm-hmm. Funny landing there for Barela. Can still see some extracurricular activity moving on the left side, but that opens up the entire world of a golf fairway.
For a much larger roller here. Goes up and around. We'll have to see where that one ended up. Isaac going to be looking to go big flex shot here. And again, looked like it may have been getting that packed down a little bit from the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get all the carry he was looking for.
Also following the left side is going to be Ezra Aderhold, choosing to go with the forehand rather than the roller. Probably around 400 into the bucket, and he has thrown it about 380 or so.
Yeah, and it looks so smooth. Great forehand power there.
Difficult to manage the nose angle correctly. Alden swinging a low hyzer. This is kind of screaming into the circle and getting some nice ground play to slow it.
Yeah, that was great. Interesting play. We see him go with straight discs a lot, straight and understable. And seems like he had that shot there, but went with the overstable play anyway and worked out for him. Isaac Robinson trying to get back on that birdie train. 4 down now.
Yeah, continuing his great work from just outside the circle. Harris for his birdie. Yes, sir. And Aderhold for the same. Okay, sticks it high in the chains. You see that he takes a little longer than either Isaac or Alden. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you play within the 30-second clock.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take your time, make sure you focus and hit what you want to hit. Moving into hole 8, 615-foot par 4. I imagine it is the easiest on the course, and it is kind of reachable, but this headwind's going to make it a bit more difficult. You want to keep it about this height to reach it and be just right of these branches like Isaac has done. But I believe he threw a fairway, and you're going to want to throw that distance driver to be able to get there and reach the pin. He's thrown a great shot to card the birdie on this short par 4.
This starting to drift and tickles some branches. Just going to have to drop down to the left side, but in great position. Alden to the flex shot, a little lower, a little lefter, and he too is going to find all of the very thick evergreen branches.
And Anthony Barela most certainly trying to get down there to the pin, but this has come out early on the left. Gets a good kick down rather than left or right where he could have found some OB. But not where you want to be. He's looking at a big wall of trees and a nice flex forehand shot here to try to get to the green. Oh man, this looks great.
Yeah, once again, an opportunity to cover up the mistake off the tee. It seemed like everybody was a little wary of the right side out of bounds should they overturn their tee shots, willing to play into the middle and take their chances with the branches. Harris swinging out to the right side. That's going to leave a headwind putt from outside the circle, though. That shot was a little too easy to be leaving it that far away on the bad side of the basket.
And Isaac just playing the hole for the birdie the entire way and made it look all too easy. Ezra ends up in a nice spot. Gonna also pitch up and down, have a nice tap-in birdie.
I think I dramatically undersold how effective his tee shot was. It didn't look that great to me. Harris does cover up his mistakes. He makes me look a fool. Knocks down his birdie putt to get under par for the round.
Yeah, back-to-back to get there. Anthony Barela looking to get back to under par after 2 birdies to start, has now found 2 bogeys. Trying to get back in the right direction here. There it was, and there it went. Man, too much of that.
Not a whole lot he can do except make sure everybody saw the same thing he did.
Yeah, and we've seen too much of that from these baskets this weekend.
Couple easy tap-in birds for Isaac Robinson and Ezra Aderhold.
And what I'll dub a star diamond?
Something like that. Hole 9, 645 feet as a par 4. Mandatories force you in between these trees. You can go up the gut or throw an overstable thing out to the left, or perhaps a roller out to the left as well. We're going to play to this further basket, which is tucked inside a cluster of trees. Lots of different ways to get there. Just really depends on what your tee shot leaves you. I don't think you pick a specific line for your second until you've assessed all of your options.
And just what you don't want. Kicking straight backwards, going to kind of be right behind that tree. Going to have somewhat of a hyzer route, but not in a great position.
Yeah, somewhere in the high 3s at least. And Aderhold also running up the base of a tree while trying to make the cut roller play. If you've seen this blue disc before, you know what it does. He threw this a couple holes ago on 7. And in a similar fashion, gonna run to the left.
It sure is, and gets out there to a similar spot that we saw him get yesterday. Gonna have a fairly straight shot to the pin from there.
And I think I see a nuke stamp that's about to get thrown off of this disc by Anthony Barela. That's going way up to the left. Might have gotten buried in the ground.
Yeah, hard to get a skip on this one. If you get off to the left side, as you see, there's lots of shade there. Keeps that grass nice and lush. Very thick. Ezra gonna catch some furs along the way. Comes up short. Gonna have a scattery upshot there.
Yeah, decent forward progress. Avoided the danger of greens and hazard bunkers, but probably a par in his future. Slightly better look from Isaac Robinson.
Yeah, still 60, 70 feet putting up that hill.
And Anthony able to access the right side. Another backhand driver to inside the circle. Nicely done. Gets him a birdie opportunity. And Harris able to throw, I believe this is a mid-range, trying to get the flex.
Looking straight at it and just over-flexed it a bit. You could see his body kind of open up maybe before he threw. I think his shoulder opened up. Maybe missed his line a little bit.
And this is not the dream stance for birdie from mid C2.
Get some good height and pace on it. Just a little bit offline. Should have a nice par though. 51% of the field taking the par on this one. AB looking to be one of the birdies. Oh man.
That one was a little bit high left, but doggone. Something's got to stick.
Yeah, that's a difficult feeling, back-to-back holes. First one, slightly better putt than that one, but both could have stayed in on both occasions.
Yeah, this is a time when you want a kind of a long walk so that you can talk yourself into the next putt, not the short walk where you have to, just get right back to it. I guess it could be either way, but at any rate, he's going to close out his front nine with another par and stay at even thus far.
Yeah, I think a long walk would be okay, but you don't want to wait on the next tee. That's for sure.
There you go. Ezra stays at 3, kind of holding his position.
And with that, 4 pars there. We're going to end the front 9. Isaac Robinson on a bit of a heater, 5 down. Ezra Aderhold also playing clean. A couple bogeys for AB.
And to this point, the lead card taking care of business to an extent, but nobody really pulling away. Isaac Robinson has made up a couple strokes. Looking for a lot more excitement on the back. We got some big bombs to air it out, and some technical precision required too.
Yeah, scoring opportunities aplenty. Looking forward to it. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen, and we'll see you guys out there.